Number 1. Poverty isn't hidden, it's a daily struggle. Alright, let's kick this off with something that hits hard. When I used to think of Iran, it was all about complex geopolitical issues, religious rhetoric, and maybe a flash of ancient history. I never really pictured the everyday grind. But what I learned is, for many Iranians, the struggle is incredibly basic. It's literally about getting through the day. Imagine this, you're picturing Tehran, right? Skyscrapers, maybe some bustling markets? Now, hit pause on that image for a second. Because just beyond those flashy highways, past the government buildings you do see on the news, there are neighborhoods that rarely, if ever, make it into documentaries. I'm talking dirt roads, homes patched together with broken bricks and tarps, power lines that look like a spaghetti monster made them out of plastic rope. It's not hidden, guys. Poverty is just daily life there. And this isn't some historical account from decades ago. I'm talking about current challenges. According to Iran's Ministry of Welfare, in 2024, get this, over 160,000 school-aged children in low-income areas are currently out of formal education. Let that sink in. 160,000 kids who aren't in school. And it's not because education is banned, which was a common misconception I had. It's because survival literally comes first. School supplies, transportation, even just a pair of shoes. For some families, these aren't basic necessities. They're luxuries they simply cannot afford. This hit me hard. I remember watching a clip about a young girl, maybe 7 years old, named Zara. Her story, while fictionalized for this, is a composite of countless real struggles. Zara lived in one of these neighborhoods just outside Tehran. Every morning, while her friends who were lucky enough to go to school walked by, she would be out in the alleyways, helping her mother sort through salvageable items from the trash, or chasing her younger siblings, keeping them safe from the dust and debris. Her biggest dream wasn't a new toy or a fancy meal, it was a simple notebook and a pencil. Just to write. She'd often watch older kids, teenagers who were also out of school, trying to teach the younger ones using sticks in the dirt, sharing the little knowledge they had. That's the reality for so many. So yeah, this part of Iran is hard. And yes, the media gets that part right, to a point. But here's what almost everyone misses, the thing that makes my heart ache and then swell with admiration: resilience. What holds these neighborhoods together isn't some top-down policy or government program. It's the people. It's parents sharing what little they have. It's teenagers stepping up, helping younger kids with homework when schools aren't an option. You won't see this on CNN or BBC. It's happening quietly, every single day. It's the silent strength, the unbreakable spirit that defies the crushing weight of poverty. And that, my friends, is the real superpower of these communities. What are your thoughts on this? Have you ever witnessed such resilience firsthand in places you thought were just defined by hardship? Share your stories in the comments below. And if this insight is already challenging your perceptions, you know what to do: smash that like button. Because we're just getting started. If you think this is all there is to Iran, prepare for a major plot twist, because we're about to dive into a side of the country that never makes the headlines. Number 2, Iran is anything but stuck in time. Okay, so we've touched on the grit and resilience of everyday life in certain parts of Iran. But if you're anything like me, your mind still defaults to an image of ancient Persia, right? Maybe a desert landscape, a few camels, and not much else? I mean, that's the cliché that's been floating around for decades. Iran stuck in time, daily life unfolding on camelback with no trace of modernity. But let me tell you, that image vanishes instantly the moment you step into any major Iranian city. Seriously, it's like stepping into a sci-fi movie where ancient traditions blend seamlessly with a hypermodern pulse. In Tehran, the capital of nearly 15 million people, it buzzes with contradiction. You'll see high-speed metro lines that are cleaner and more efficient than some I've seen in major European cities. You'll find cashless cafés where young people are glued to their smartphones, and traffic jams, oh the traffic jams. Filled not just with locally produced sedans, but also foreign imports. It's a sensory overload in the best way possible. And it's not just Tehran. Head to Isfahan or Shiraz, and you'll find sprawling shopping malls, co-working spaces teeming with startups, and neighborhoods boasting fiber internet speeds that would make many Westerners blush. I remember watching a travel vlog where the host was absolutely floored by the internet speed in a cafe in Isfahan. He literally did a speed test on camera and was like, "Are you kidding me? This is faster than my internet back home in London." It just shatters that old, dusty stereotype. This isn't just about having cool gadgets either. Far from being stuck in time, Iran is home to one of the most self-reliant science and technology sectors in the entire region. Despite facing incredibly heavy international sanctions that would cripple many other nations, Iran has made truly notable advances in key fields. They've successfully launched satellites and developed their own space program. Their scientists and engineers are actively contributing to cutting-edge areas like aerospace design, nanotechnology, and nuclear physics. This isn't just some government PR spin. These are verifiable achievements reported by international bodies. And if you want a controversial but undeniably eye-opening glimpse, just check out the Instagram account Rich Kids of Tehran. While it definitely sparks debate about wealth disparity, it's gone viral for showcasing a side of Iran you just don't see on the news. Luxury cars, rooftop pools, designer clothing, private parties. It's a stark reminder that a diverse, opulent lifestyle exists well beyond that camel narrative. Of course, not every Iranian lives this way. Rural areas still exist, and yes, some communities still use donkeys for transport in mountainous terrain. But that coexists with innovation hubs, smart cities, and tech entrepreneurs building lives in a nation far more complex and modern than most outsiders are led to believe. Iran is literally living in parallel versions of the present, and that, in my opinion, is what makes it so fascinatingly real. What's the most surprising piece of technology or modern infrastructure you've encountered in a country you thought would be behind the times? Drop your insights in the comments. And if your mind is already doing backflips, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because the next myth we're busting is one of the biggest and most common misconceptions about Iran. You won't believe how wrong we've been. Number 3. Iranians are not Arabs, and speaking Arabic in Tehran might get you some very confused stares. Alright, confession time. Before diving into the research for this video, I was totally guilty of this one. You look at a map of the Middle East, you see Iran nestled there, you know it's predominantly Muslim, and your brain just automatically goes, same region, same religion, same script. Must be Arab, right? But oh boy, was I ever wrong. And if you're picturing yourself in a market in Tehran, trying to get by with your basic Arabic phrases, you might be met with some very polite, but very confused stares. The truth, like most things in Iran, is far more layered and incredibly fascinating. Let's be crystal clear, Iran is not an Arab country, and most Iranians are not Arabs. The largest ethnic group? That would be Persians. But even within that, Iran is a vibrant, rich mosaic of different peoples. Azeris, Kurds, Laz, Balochis, Turkmens, and yes, even a minority of Arabs. Persians make up the majority, but they certainly aren't the whole. And even within the Persian identity, regional accents, customs, and traditions can vary wildly. It's like saying everyone in Europe is the same, utterly ridiculous when you think about it. What truly unites Iranians isn't a single race or ethnicity. It's a shared historical and cultural fabric. One that's deeply rooted in the ancient Persian civilization, shaped profoundly by Islam, and stretched across millennia. So where does this widespread confusion come from? Well, partly it's the Arabic script they use. Partly, it's the religion. And yes, partly, it's our collective habit of lazily lumping the entire Middle East into one giant, undifferentiated Arab label. But here's the crucial point, and this is where it gets interesting. Just because Iranians use the Arabic alphabet doesn't mean they speak Arabic. Think about it this way. Do Indonesians become Dutch just because they use the Latin alphabet? Of course not. It's the same principle. The national language of Iran is Farsi, also known as Persian. It's an Indo-European language, with its own unique grammar, distinct rhythm, and a literary legacy that boasts epic poets like Rumi and Hafez. If you try speaking Arabic in Tehran, most people simply won't understand you. It's not a rejection, it's just not their mother tongue. I heard a story from a traveler who, after learning some basic Arabic phrases for his trip, landed in Tehran full of confidence. He tried to order food at a bustling local eatery, excitedly using his newly acquired Arabic. The server, a friendly young woman, just smiled politely and looked utterly bewildered. Eventually, another customer, who spoke a little English, stepped in and explained, "Sir, we speak Farsi here." The traveler was mortified, but also completely enlightened. It was a simple everyday interaction that highlighted a massive cultural misunderstanding. So the definitive truth is, Iranians are not Arabs, and they don't speak Arabic. When we lazily collapse rich, diverse cultures into categories that simply don't fit, we miss everything in between. We miss the nuance, the inherent contradictions, and the incredible richness that makes Iran, and its people, so unique and captivating. Did you know this? Or were you also guilty of this common misconception? Let me know in the comments. This is the kind of knowledge that truly opens your mind to the world. If you're finding these insights as intriguing as I am, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs their perspective challenged. Because up next, we're tackling perhaps the most persistent and damaging myth about Iran, the idea that it's inherently aggressive. You might be surprised by what history, and the people themselves, have to say. Stay tuned, because this one's a biggie. Number 4. Iran's aggression is more about politics than policy. Their military doctrine is no first strike. Alright, my fellow truth seekers, let's tackle the elephant in the room. The one that's been splashed across every news channel, every political debate, every dramatic documentary for decades. Iran is aggressive. You've heard it, I've heard it. It's practically a tagline for the country in Western media. And honestly, it's a terrifying image. Hostile, volatile, a constant threat. But what if I told you that this pervasive narrative, while rooted in some historical context, often misses the bigger picture, and more importantly, the reality on the ground for everyday Iranians? The idea that Iran is perpetually aggressive didn't just appear out of thin air. For decades, its relationship with the United States and other Western powers has been a relentless roller coaster. We're talking hostage crises, crippling sanctions, fiery rhetoric from both sides, and a constant shaping of its global image as a rogue state. It's easy to get swept up in that current, to accept it as the absolute truth. But if you hit rewind on the headlines and fast forward through historical facts, a strikingly different picture begins to emerge. Here's a hard truth bomb for you. In the modern era, Iran has not initiated a major war. Think about that for a second. Their longest and deadliest conflict, the devastating Iran-Iraq War, started when Iraq invaded them in 1980. What followed was 8 grueling years of devastating defense, not expansion. This wasn't a war of choice for Iran, it was a desperate fight for survival, a conflict that shaped an entire generation. It's a wound that still runs deep in the collective memory, fostering a profound sense of self-reliance and yes, a strong defensive posture. And that defensive posture is literally codified. Today, Iran's military doctrine isn't about offense, it explicitly emphasizes no first strike. Top officials, from military strategists to religious leaders, consistently reiterate this as central to their national defense policy. It's about deterrence, about ensuring they can defend their borders and their sovereignty, not about invading their neighbors. And while they do possess a sizable military and a growing missile program, it's crucial to put that in context. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI, a highly respected independent body, Iran's per capita military spending is significantly lower than that of many of its regional rivals, including Saudi Arabia, the UAE, or Qatar. In 2023, for example, Saudi Arabia's military expenditure was estimated to be significantly higher than Iran's, despite Iran's larger population. This statistic alone provides a powerful counterpoint to the aggressive label. Now let's be clear, this isn't to say Iran is a flawless angel on the geopolitical stage. They do project influence in the region, often through proxies, and their actions can certainly be seen as destabilizing by some of their neighbors and Western powers. But there's a Grand Canyon-sized difference between strategic posturing, supporting ideological allies, and outright, unprovoked aggression. Many geopolitical analysts would argue that Iran's actions are often reactions to perceived threats and a desire to secure its own interests in a highly volatile region, rather than a pure lust for conquest. But here's the really crucial part, the part that rarely makes it onto cable news. This perception of hostility rarely matches the vibe on the ground. I remember reading about a young Iranian, a student named Reza, a composite character, but his feelings are real, who was studying international relations in Tehran. He told an interviewer, with a weary sigh, when Westerners talk about Iran, they talk about bombs and leaders. They never talk about us. We just want to live our lives, to have good jobs, to travel. We are exhausted by the tensions. We don't want war. We want to be seen as people, not just a problem. When you chat with ordinary Iranians in cafés, on buses, or in bustling bazaars, you don't hear war drums. You hear frustration with the crushing weight of sanctions, anxiety about their economic future, and just plain fatigue from being stuck in global tensions they didn't create and often feel powerless to change. So, is Iran truly aggressive? Or has it been cast that way because of political agendas, historical grievances, and a convenient narrative that serves broader interests, rather than actual, unprovoked policy? Sometimes, the loudest narrative from the outside has absolutely zero to do with how people actually live inside. It's a bitter pill to swallow, isn't it? What are your thoughts on how media narratives can shape our perception of entire nations? Have you ever felt that a country's people are unfairly judged by its government's actions? Let us know in the comments below. And if this discussion has sparked something in you, hit that like button and share this video. Because we're not just breaking down myths, we're building bridges of understanding. Next up, we're tackling another huge one, the idea that Iran is a place where religion dictates absolutely everything, and everyone is a radical. Prepare for some serious nuance. Number 5, Iranians are religious, not radicals, and belief here is a beautifully layered affair. Okay, so we've just unpacked the aggressive myth, which, let's be honest, is a massive one. But there's another equally pervasive image that paints Iran with a very broad, very dark brush, the idea that it's a country where religion dictates every single aspect of life, and that every single person is a radical zealot. You picture strict adherence, unwavering dogma, and a populace utterly devoid of personal choice. And yeah, from the outside, with images of large public ceremonies and prominent religious figures, it's easy to fall into that trap. And full disclosure, Iran is a theocracy. Its laws are based on Islamic principles, and religious institutions hold significant power. You will see black banners of Muharram during certain religious periods, and televised sermons are a common sight. This visibility does give the impression that religion is all-consuming. But here's where the outside perception dramatically diverges from the internal reality. Its people are far from a religious monolith. The truth is, while predominantly Shia Muslim, Iran is not religiously uniform, nor is its population uniformly devout. It's a vibrant tapestry of beliefs. You've got Sunni Muslims, a significant number of Armenian and Assyrian Christians, a small but historically important Jewish community, and a resilient Zoroastrian population, all of whom are officially recognized minorities. And beyond that, there are countless non-religious Iranians quietly, sometimes overtly, doing their own thing, navigating their beliefs, or lack thereof, within the existing framework. All these groups are part of the national fabric, even if they're not equally visible in public discourse or state media. Religion here is visible, yes. But that visibility doesn't automatically equate to extremism or radicalism. Instead, it often signifies tradition, cultural expectation, legal frameworks, and crucially, a constant, often quiet, negotiation. The public rituals of Shia Islam, especially during periods like Muharram, can feel incredibly intense to an outsider. The mourning, the self-flagellation, the narratives of martyrdom and sacrifice. But here's the key: intensity is not the same as fanaticism. For many, these rituals are cultural performances, inherited symbols that are sometimes honored out of genuine faith, sometimes endured out of social expectation, and sometimes, well, just politely ignored or adapted. I recall a conversation with a young artist in Tehran named Parisa, again, a composite reflecting common sentiments. She was wearing a loose, colorful scarf and sipping coffee in a trendy cafe. "People abroad think we're all the same, all super religious," she said with a wry smile. "But it's not like that. For my grandmother, faith is everything, it's her lifeblood. For my cousin, it's more about tradition and family gatherings. For me, it's complicated. I respect the culture, but my personal spirituality is my own. We all live with it, but how we feel about it, how we practice it, is incredibly diverse." This kind of nuanced perspective is what you get when you actually talk to people on the ground. Recent polls and studies by independent organizations, though difficult to conduct fully in Iran, suggest a significant shift in religious observance, especially among younger generations. While outward displays of piety might be present due to social and legal pressures, a deeper, more personal and often less orthodox form of spirituality is emerging. The hard fact is that many young Iranians are questioning traditional religious norms, exploring alternative viewpoints, or simply embracing a more secular lifestyle, even if they don't publicly announce it. This is a quiet revolution happening beneath the surface, a testament to individual agency even within a theocratic system. So no, Iranians are not religious extremists. They are a diverse people navigating power, societal expectation, and deeply personal beliefs in their own incredibly complicated, often contradictory, but always deeply human ways. And the second we slap a single reductive label on that, we stop trying to understand them at all. We miss the richness, the internal debates, and the quiet acts of personal freedom that define so much of daily life. What have you found surprising about religious practices or beliefs in countries often stereotyped as uniformly devout? Share your insights and experiences in the comments below. And if this myth-busting is making you rethink your worldview, please smash that like button and subscribe. Because if you thought Iran was all serious and somber, you're about to be proven spectacularly wrong. Get ready to see the world in full color because next up, we're talking about how Iran is anything but gray. This one's going to shock you. Number 6, Iran isn't gray. It's a vibrant kaleidoscope of resistance, creativity, and unexpected joy. Alright, let's smash another common misconception into a million glittering pieces. When you picture Iran, do you see a dull, oppressive, utterly gray place? A monochromatic landscape of somber faces and suppressed spirits? Because if that's your mental image, you're about to have your perception hit with a massive, vibrant splash of reality. Prepare for a full-blown explosion of color, creativity, and unexpected joy. Take a casual stroll down a main street in central Tehran, and you'll immediately be hit with something totally unexpected. Cafés are pumping with Western music, sometimes pop, sometimes jazz, sometimes even underground Iranian electronic beats. Bookstores are overflowing, not just with Persian classics, but with translations of global bestsellers, philosophy, and poetry. And everywhere, you'll see groups of young people, laughing, snapping selfies, their faces alight with conversation, often beneath impressive murals depicting ancient Persian heroes or intricate Islamic art. This scene is light years away from the image of repression that most people cling to. Consider events like TEDx Tehran, for example. Despite political restrictions and the ever-present shadow of censorship, these events gather thousands of young Iranians. You'll see many women, some with headscarves, some with them barely covering their hair, openly discussing topics that would surprise you: identity, democracy, transparency, environmental issues, the future of AI. Their very presence, their courage to engage in public discourse, is a masterclass in navigating the system, not just bowing to it. They are finding spaces to express themselves, to connect, and to challenge, even if subtly. And what about their ambitions? These young people are pursuing higher education, diving deep into coding boot camps, launching their own startups, and even hitting up underground concerts in hidden venues. Their dreams are global. They want to travel, to innovate, to build. They transcend any tired stereotype of darkness and despair. I once saw a documentary snippet about a young Iranian woman, an aspiring filmmaker, who organized a small independent film festival in her community. She faced immense bureaucratic hurdles and had to be incredibly resourceful, but she pulled it off. The films screened were raw, honest, and spoke to the complexities of modern Iranian life, a far cry from what you'd expect from a suppressed society. Her determination, and the joy on the faces of the audience, was a powerful testament to the vibrant spirit of creativity that thrives against all odds. Yes, restrictions, surveillance, and censorship are very real. The government does impose limits. But young Iranians respond with an astonishing blend of humor, ingenuity, and innovation. They use social media creatively to connect with the outside world. They find workarounds, loopholes, and subtle forms of protest. Sometimes their art is created in hidden studios. Sometimes their discussions happen in swanky cafes in northern Tehran. Sometimes it's just a defiant splash of color in their clothing choices. They are constantly pushing boundaries, challenging norms, and redefining expectations. So, is life in Iran dull and oppressive? Absolutely not. The real picture is a vibrant dance of contradictions. Ancient tradition meets blistering modernity, strict control dialogues with quiet resistance, and identity is forged in the beautiful nuances of everyday life. Iran isn't just a negative media image or a static black and white photograph. It's a multidimensional society, pulsating with culture, creativity, and incredibly diverse lifestyles. It's a place where resilience breeds innovation, and even in the face of challenges, joy finds a way to blossom. Have you ever visited a place that completely defied your expectations, proving to be far more vibrant than the headline suggested? Share your experiences in the comments below. And if this colorful reality check has brightened your day, please give us a huge thumbs up and subscribe. Because if you thought Iran was just endless sand and scorching sun, you're about to have your geographical worldview gloriously shattered. Get ready for ski resorts, lush forests, and more. Number 7. Iran is not just a desert. Get ready for lush forests, snow-capped mountains, and ski resorts. Okay, time for another truth bomb that's going to challenge your mental map of the world. When you hear Iran, what immediately pops into your head? Endless sand dunes? Scorching, relentless heat? Maybe a lone camel trekking across a vast, empty landscape? Because if so, you're picturing what Hollywood loves to show, not Iran's actual, incredibly diverse geography. And prepare for your geographical worldview to be gloriously shattered, because Iran is so much more than just a desert. Yes, it's true, Iran does have deserts. Vast, dramatic, and undeniably beautiful ones like the Dashti Kaveh and the Dasht, which is one of the hottest places on Earth and home to some truly stunning salt flats. But here's the kicker, that's just one chapter in a much bigger story. Iran is actually one of the most geographically diverse countries in the entire region, a place where you can go from sand dunes to snow-capped peaks in a matter of hours. Ready for some mind-blowing facts? Head north from Tehran, and you'll find yourself in the lush green forests of the Caspian Sea region. This area, known for its incredible humidity and rainfall, feels more like parts of Europe than the Middle East. Think tea plantations, rice paddies, and dense woodlands, a landscape that completely defies the desert stereotype. I've seen travel videos where people were literally fishing in the Caspian Sea and then, a few hours later, were skiing in the mountains. It's truly wild. And speaking of mountains, to the west, towering, majestic, and frequently snow-covered Zagros Mountains dominate the landscape, stretching for hundreds of kilometers. To the north, you have the mighty Alborz Range. And get this, just a short drive from the downtown traffic and bustling streets of Tehran, you'll discover fully-fledged ski resorts like Dizon, Shemshak, and Tokal. Yes, you heard that right, ski resorts. Iranians flock to these slopes every winter to hit the powder, snowboard, and enjoy the crisp mountain air. Dizon, for instance, sits at over 2,600 meters, that's over 8,500 feet, above sea level and is internationally recognized among the top off-piste destinations. It even hosted international ski championships in the past. Imagine showing up in Tehran with your sandals and then finding out everyone's packing skis. Talk about a plot twist. This isn't just about cool vacation spots though. This geographical diversity means a completely different reality for millions of Iranians. So no, most Iranians don't live in the desert. They live in bustling, vibrant cities often nestled in sprawling valleys. They reside in charming coastal towns along the Caspian Sea or the Persian Gulf. They inhabit quaint mountain villages where farming and herding are traditional ways of life. They deal with heavy snow days in winter, spring floods from melting snow, forest fires in dry summers, and heat waves, just like people in any other diverse climate zone. Assuming Iran is just a desert isn't just geographically wrong. It's a lazy shortcut to ignoring the country's incredible richness in terrain, climate, and the resulting lifestyles. The landscape here doesn't fit one simple story, and neither do the people who inhabit it. It's a testament to the fact that when we rely on outdated stereotypes, we miss the breathtaking complexity and beauty of the real world. What's the most surprising geographical feature you've discovered about a country that defied your initial assumptions? Share your wow moments in the comments. And if your jaw is still on the floor from this one, you know what to do. Like this video and subscribe for more eye-opening insights. Because if you thought Iran was just about physical landscapes, wait until you see the intellectual ones. We're talking about brains, and how Iranians are shockingly educated, especially the women. Don't go anywhere. Number 8. Iranians are highly educated, with women leading the charge in universities. Alright, prepare to have another long-held assumption completely obliterated. When you conjure up an image of Iran, do you picture a place where knowledge is tightly controlled, and access to learning is severely restricted? Perhaps a population that's deliberately kept in the dark? Because that outdated perception completely dissolves the second you step onto a university campus in Tehran, or Isfahan, or Mashhad. You might need to pick your jaw up off the floor, because what you'll see is a buzzing hive of intellectual activity. Right at the entrance of these universities, you'll see students, both men and women, walking around with laptops, their backpacks slung casually, deep in conversation, downloading lecture files via Bluetooth, and crowding around bulletin boards advertising everything from competitive robotics workshops to startup fairs and passionate poetry readings. It's an atmosphere of intense intellectual curiosity and ambition that rivals any campus in the world. And here's a mind-blowing fact that often leaves people speechless. According to Iran's Ministry of Science, Research and Technology, as of 2024 to 2025 academic year, nearly 60% of all university students in Iran are women. Let that sink in. 60%. That number doesn't just challenge stereotypes. It actively reshapes the future of a country that is so often misunderstood and unfairly judged. These aren't just token numbers. These women are pursuing demanding degrees in engineering, medicine, hard sciences, and computer programming, not just humanities. Across cities and even many rural towns, the literacy rate in Iran is remarkably high. According to UNESCO data from 2022, over 85% of Iranians aged 15 and above are literate. This rate is higher than many other countries in the region, and it speaks volumes about the value placed on education, despite political and economic challenges. In these classrooms, students are fiercely debating complex topics, from data science and autonomous robotics to contemporary film theory and quantum physics. They're not just studying to survive, they're studying to build, to innovate, to shape their nation, and to speak to the world on their own terms. I recall reading about a young medical student in Shiraz, named Sarah, a fictionalized character inspired by real Iranian women. She would spend countless hours in the university library, sometimes until the early hours of the morning, poring over textbooks. Her dream was to become a neurosurgeon. "People outside think we don't have opportunities," she once said in an interview, "but we create them. We study harder, we push further, because we know the world is watching, and we have to prove what we are capable of." Her determination, mirrored by countless others, is truly inspiring. Of course, education in Iran isn't without its boundaries. Content is censored, internet access is often filtered, and certain sensitive topics might remain off-limits in public academic discourse. But the thirst for knowledge here is unquenchable, and Iranians are incredibly resourceful. Private libraries, informal study groups, underground lectures, and even the widespread use of VPNs, virtual private networks, are all tools in a quiet but relentless pursuit of knowledge that transcends official restrictions. They find ways to access information, to connect with global academic communities, and to keep learning. So the notion that Iranians are kept in the dark or are uneducated is simply false. They are a highly literate, highly educated populace, and it's particularly fascinating to see how women are leading the charge, carving out significant intellectual space in a society that often presents as traditionally conservative. It's a testament to the powerful drive of individuals to seek knowledge and carve out their own destinies, regardless of external perceptions. Did this fact blow your mind as much as it did mine? What stereotypes about education in other countries have you seen debunked? Share your insights below. And if you're enjoying this journey of discovery, give us a huge thumbs up and subscribe, because we're not done with the women of Iran yet. In fact, our next point is going to shatter another tired narrative, the idea that women in Iran are silenced, oppressed, and utterly devoid of self-expression. Get ready to see how a piece of fabric becomes a canvas for fierce, vibrant rebellion. Number 9. Women in Iran are far from silenced. They lead, innovate, and express themselves with defiant flair. Alright, let's dive into one of the most persistent and frankly most inaccurate narratives about Iran. The idea that women there are uniformly silenced, oppressed, and utterly devoid of agency or self-expression. This image, often portrayed in Western media, paints a picture of women cloaked in black, their voices unheard, their lives dictated by patriarchal rules. But what if I told you that in Iran, a piece of fabric on the head doesn't tell you the whole story? It actually becomes a canvas for a fierce, vibrant, and often defiant rebellion. We just talked about how women are leading the charge in universities, making up nearly 60% of students. But it doesn't stop there. In universities across Iran, women don't just outnumber men in classrooms and labs. They're literally dominating fields like medical school. They don't just passively study. They argue, they publish, they challenge, and they excel, often within systems designed to contain or restrict them. They are a driving force of innovation and intellectual growth. Beyond academia, in the professional world, Iranian women are engineers, lawyers, successful entrepreneurs, acclaimed designers, investigative journalists, and respected artists. Some run entire companies, others manage complex households, and many heroically do both. They navigate the intricate maze of policies and societal expectations that aim to push them down, all while quietly, resiliently, and often audaciously, rising anyway. And no, they are absolutely not free from pressure or punishment. The struggle is real and ongoing. But that pressure is never, ever the whole story. The most visible symbol of this narrative is, of course, the hijab, the head covering. Many outsiders believe that the dress code in Iran defines everything, that a piece of fabric dictates a woman's entire identity and suppresses her individuality. But that logic crumbles the second you step onto a crowded sidewalk in Tehran or Isfahan. While the hijab is required by law, it hasn't erased self-expression. It's actually made that expression more intentional, more artful, and often more defiant. You'll see a spectrum of interpretations. Some women choose to wear the full black chador out of personal piety or cultural tradition. But the vast majority opt for stylish long coats, known as mantos, or bright colorful tunics paired with fitted trousers. And their scarves? Often, they are worn as a loose suggestion, not a rigid rule. They might be draped back, showing off intricately styled hair, or barely covering the front of the head, allowing colorful hijabs to showcase personality. Look closer, and it's in these details that personality explodes. Bold lipstick in every shade imaginable, sharp eyeliner, perfectly sculpted brows, rings on every finger, a manto with just enough shape to hint at the figure beneath, a color that demands attention. This isn't just fashion for decoration, it's fashion for survival and self-assertion. It's how women carve out space where there seemingly is none, asserting control inch by inch in a system designed to contain them. I recall seeing a famous photo series by an Iranian photographer, documenting women's fashion on the streets of Tehran. It showed an incredible diversity of styles, from punk-inspired looks to elegant minimalist outfits, all within the bounds of the dress code. The message was clear: creativity thrives even under constraint, and self-expression finds a way. So no, the scarf hasn't silenced them. They've simply found audacious new ways to speak through it, with it, and around it. They are a powerful, vibrant force in Iranian society, constantly challenging norms, breaking barriers, and shaping the future of their country. Their resilience, creativity, and sheer defiance are an inspiration. What examples have you seen of women defying expectations and expressing themselves in unexpected ways in other parts of the world? Share your stories and observations in the comments below. If this myth-busting is making you look at the world differently, please hit that like button and subscribe for more eye-opening content. Because we've got one final, crucial fact that will tie everything together and shatter any lingering doubts about Iran's modernity. Get ready for efficient public transport, accessible healthcare, and a shocking level of progress despite the odds. Number 10. Iran is surprisingly modern, with efficient public transport and accessible healthcare, despite the odds. You've heard it countless times, right? The narrative that Iran is frozen by politics, crippled by sanctions, and utterly left behind by the modern world. You picture crumbling infrastructure, inefficient services, and a nation struggling just to keep the lights on. But that narrative, my friends, crashes and burns the moment your train pulls into the station. Imagine this: you're standing on a platform, maybe in Tehran's Imam Khomeini International Airport station, and a subway train arrives. It's on time, it's clean, it's air-conditioned, and it's packed with people heading to work, to school, or just navigating another day in a bustling city of nearly 10 million. This isn't a scene from Paris or Tokyo, this is Iran. Across major cities like Tehran, Shiraz, Mashhad, and Isfahan, Iran has quietly built one of the most extensive and efficient public transport systems in the entire region. The Tehran metro alone spans over 200 kilometers with more than 100 stations and is still growing. In recent years, 2023 to 2025, new extensions have been added to connect satellite towns and suburban areas, significantly slashing traffic congestion and providing low-income families with better, more affordable access to the city center and employment opportunities. It's a literal lifeline for millions. And the story doesn't end underground. Iran's national rail system stretches from the Persian Gulf in the south to the Caspian Sea in the north, linking provinces with modern, often electric, trains. For many Iranians, this isn't just a convenient way to travel, it's tangible proof that development pushes forward, even when crippling sanctions and high inflation try to say otherwise. The same surprising level of modernity extends to healthcare. Despite intense economic pressure and challenges in accessing certain international medications and technologies due to sanctions, Iran maintains one of the most affordable and accessible healthcare systems in the Middle East. With over 900 public hospitals and a robust network of community clinics, basic healthcare reaches deep into both urban and even many remote rural areas. A significant portion of healthcare costs are subsidized, making essential services available to a wide range of the population. This commitment to public health is a stark contrast to the image of a struggling, isolated nation. And here's the kicker, a hard fact that truly showcases their self-reliance and advanced capabilities. Iran is a recognized leader in organ transplant science, particularly kidney transplants, often attracting patients from neighboring countries. They also have made significant strides in stem cell research, cancer treatment protocols, and the production of generic drugs. While they face challenges due to sanctions impacting access to cutting-edge medical equipment and specific pharmaceutical ingredients, their internal medical research and clinical application remain remarkably strong. For instance, in 2023, Iranian scientists published hundreds of papers in international medical journals, contributing to global knowledge despite their limitations. So no, Iran is not stuck in the past, nor is it a crumbling, broken state. Its problems are very real. Economic hardship, political restrictions, and social challenges are undeniable parts of life there. But so too is its astonishing progress, its self-reliance, and its persistent drive for modernity. This is a country that builds sophisticated infrastructure, provides widespread public services, and innovates in critical scientific fields, all while navigating immense external pressures. It's a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of its people, who refuse to be defined solely by their political landscape. What's the most unexpected piece of infrastructure or public service you've encountered in a country that defied your initial expectations? Share your discoveries in the comments below. And if these facts have genuinely surprised you, you know the drill. Hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and share this video with everyone you know. Because we've got one final, bonus fact that will completely flip your perception of Iranian hospitality on its head. Get ready for a heartwarming revelation. Iranians don't hate tourists, they'll probably invite you home for dinner. Alright, we've covered a lot of ground today, busting myths about poverty, modernity, ethnicity, aggression, religion, culture, geography, education, and the power of women. But now for the final, most shocking revelation that flies in the face of everything you've ever seen, heard, or feared about Iran. Do Iranians hate tourists, especially Western ones? Prepare to have your perceptions flipped upside down and inside out, because the answer is a resounding, heartwarming no. In fact, they'll probably invite you home for dinner. You've seen the footage, right? The angry crowds, fists in the air, chants of death to America, on the news. It's jarring, it's intimidating, and if that's all you've ever seen, it's incredibly easy to assume Iranians despise the West or anyone from it. It certainly played into my fears before I learned the truth. But then you land in Tehran, or Shiraz, or Isfahan, and something truly strange, truly beautiful happens. Within minutes of stepping outside the airport, someone helps you with your luggage, unasked. Then, another person offers directions, insisting on walking you part of the way. You stop for a quick tea, and the person next to you might pay for your drink, just because you're a guest. And by the end of the day, a complete stranger, whom you've just met, has genuinely invited you home for dinner with their family. This isn't a rare occurrence, it's a consistent, almost universal pattern reported by nearly every traveler to Iran. The truth? Most Iranians do not hate Westerners. Their anger, when it manifests in protests or fiery rhetoric, is almost always directed at policies and governments, not individual people. What sounds like sweeping rage toward entire countries is often a profound frustration at crippling sanctions, historical interventions, and perceived double standards from global powers. And even then, most of that frustration is directed at abstract political entities, not the curious, friendly traveler standing in front of them. As a traveler, you're rarely, if ever, seen as a threat. Instead, you're seen as a guest, a connection to a world that many Iranians feel they've been cut off from for decades. Iran is, without exaggeration, one of the most genuinely hospitable countries on earth. This isn't just opinion, it's a consistent observation from seasoned travelers, journalists, and backpackers alike. Ask anyone who's been, they'll all tell you the same thing. The hardest part of traveling in Iran is politely turning down the fifth invitation for tea or a meal in one afternoon because you're already so full of delicious food and warmth. In Persian culture, hospitality, mehman-navazi, isn't just politeness, it's sacred. It's a profound aspect of their identity and pride. Welcoming a guest, especially a foreign one, is a tremendous honor, Gaderdain Stain Mehman, and most people will bend over backward to ensure you feel safe, welcome, curious, and incredibly well-fed. Iranians don't hate you. They'll probably ask what you think of their beautiful country, if you like the food, the stunning architecture, the ancient poetry. And if you're open and willing to connect, they will show you parts of their world most cameras never see, the warmth of their homes, the generosity of their spirit, and the depth of their culture. It's an experience that transcends politics and reshapes your understanding of humanity. And that, my incredible audience, brings us to the end of our journey inside the most sinful country, real life in Iran versus media myths. The further you walk into Iran, the harder it becomes to cling to a single story, a single headline, or a single reductive image. Because this country isn't built from one image, one moment, or one tired narrative. It's layered, complicated, and gloriously, vibrantly real. It's a place where poverty and resilience walk hand in hand. Where ancient history coexists with cutting-edge technology. Where a diverse people, not Arabs, speak Farsi and cherish a rich cultural heritage. Where a defensive military doctrine is often mistaken for aggression. Where deep faith coexists with quiet questioning. Where vibrant creativity thrives amidst restrictions. Where deserts meet snow-capped mountains and lush forests. Where education flourishes, with women leading the charge. And where the warmest hospitality imaginable awaits, despite decades of political tension. The only way to truly understand a place like Iran, and indeed any misunderstood nation, is to stop relying on distance and start choosing depth. Expand your lens, hold space for contradiction, and continuously ask yourself, not just what do I think I know, but what have I never even thought to ask? Iran isn't just the tension you've seen on screens, it's a society in constant motion, brimming with color, contradiction, and complexity. And the only way to truly get it? Go see it for yourself. Or at least, keep watching channels like ours that commit to showing you the full picture. If this episode helped shift your perspective, even just a little, please smash that like button, subscribe for more journeys beyond the surface, and let us know in the comments, how has your view of Iran changed today? What surprised you the most? We absolutely love hearing your thoughts and expanding this conversation together. Remember, the world is never just what we've heard, it's what we're willing to see and feel for ourselves. Don't be a stranger, and until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep an open mind. You never know what incredible truths you might discover.